So in this video, I'll show you a method to get the background removed from graphics like these. Whether it's the Howling at the Moon or the very popular bootleg style, if you want to create these kinds of designs with AI, you always have a massive problem with the background. There's just too much like fog, details, and differences in the background color. And I've tried these with everything. So vectorizer, if you throw them into here, it just, it leaves a lot of black behind. It ruins the gradients, so that doesn't really work. Ready Pixel also doesn't do a good job. This is a color removal, much like Photoshop, which it looks okay, but it still has, all of this foggy, half transparentness left behind. Tools like Clip Drop as well. This is the kind of stuff that's built into Kittle and other tools you might be using. They're probably using either Clip Drop or Pixian, Remove JPEG, stuff like that. These just absolutely fail with these graphics. If it's finally going to do it right here, come on. Yeah, okay, that's terrible. It's just taken off most of the graphic right there. And even in Photoshop, with the magic wand, it's not a great result. And if you use the automated method here, remove background, it also fails. But there is actually a way to do this. It's a manual method, right? So it's not something that I think you'll be able to automate. But if you have some designs that you really want to do a good job on, you want them to print well, and you really want them to be in a bootleg style or this Howling at the Moon style, then this is the go-to method, I think. And it unfortunately only works with Photoshop. I tried this with Photo P, but I couldn't figure out how to do it in Photo P instead. So maybe there's a way, but right now I only know Photoshop. So let's start a new document right here. And by the way, you should upscale your image first if it's not at least 4,000 pixels already. I downloaded this one with 2K. It was a Nano Banana image, so in that case I only need to scale it by 2x. You can use upscale for that, or another free option would be dgb.lol. And what I'm going to do is set this to the print file dimensions and 300 dpi. That is very important, so whatever you're going to have the design printed at, use that in terms of the dimensions, and also choose 300 dpi. Then we'll go and hit create. Then I'll open up my design here. I will resize it so it actually covers the print area more. Don't get it cut off at the edge right here, but you want to fill in this space and make it the right size before you start the process of removing the background right here with a halftone method. This is kind of a halftone effect that can remove the background more effectively. And so now it's resized. The next thing we're going to do is head to the layers panel. If you don't see that, just go to window and enable layers, and we'll right click on this design, go to duplicate layer, change this to a new document right here, and then just hit OK. And once that's opened up, we will go to image, mode, and grayscale. We'll just hit rasterize for this, and now we can start the process. So what you need to understand for this workflow is that whatever is black in your design is going to be removed fully, and whatever is completely white will be printed fully. Anything in between, so anything that has gray, will have a halftone effect applied to it, and that way there's no half transparency. There is kind of a mixture of little dots that are going to be printed out, which looks way better, way cleaner. But right now, most of this is gray. There's not really a lot of white, so almost all of this would be a halftone effect and wouldn't look very good. So what we're going to do is select the design in the layers panel. We'll go to image, adjustments, levels, and then we'll drag this slider very far down, and this will depend on your image. So you don't want to blow it up all the way that your graphic completely disappears, but you also want to go quite a bit higher than what you might perceive as natural right here. So I think this is actually quite good, and it might look like it's way too bright and shiny right here, but we'll also slide this layer back for some of the edges, the foggy edges, so the black is going to be increased right here. If we turn this up a bit, there we go. I think this looks kind of good. If we hit OK and zoom in, we'll now have some gray at the edge right here where it's kind of half toning. Anything around right here, black, is going to be the shirt color, so it won't be printed on, and the bright white, that'll be solid color. So this is a decent result, and we can now move on to the next step. So next up, you need to click on image again, go to mode and select bitmap. Click OK for flatten layers, and make sure that the method right here is set to halftone screen. Output should say 300 dpi. If it doesn't, then you need to go back to step 1 and restart the document, and then click OK. And for the halftone screen, these are the settings that I've got. You can play around with them. This decides the kind of size of the little halftone effect, the dots that you're going to get. And you can also change the shape. I've just left that at the default. So 23.5 and 40 up here. And then we'll just click OK. And now you will see a noticeable difference in the graphic. If we zoom in, you've now got the actual halftone kind of dotted effect. Here, everything is solid. That's where we had white, and anything around it is black. There's no half transparency. And now what we can do is go back to the layers panel right here. We'll hit Control A to select everything. Then we'll hit Control C. It's Command on a Mac, by the way. So Command A, Command C to copy. Then you'll need to head back to your original document with the colored version of the design. You need to head to the layers panel. Click on this little symbol down here to create a layer mask. Now you need to hold down Alt if you're on a PC or Option if you're on a Mac, and then click into the layer mask, which will look white like this. And then we're just going to hit Control V or Command V to paste that into here. And as soon as you click out of it, you'll now see that halftone mask applied to our original design, which I did upscale beforehand, by the way. So I would recommend upscaling it before you start this process and not doing this with 1,000 pixels in terms of your graphic. And now this has done a really, really good job, which you can't really see on white, but if we change it to delete this layer and then change it to a solid color background, black right here, this looks really good. And it's going to actually print well, it will look professional, and it won't have any weird half transparency effects in there. Now you might have to get used to the slider with the levels adjustment right here, just to get used to how much you need to show or color in white and how much should be black, etc. I don't think I've done a perfect job right here, but that's something you get used to. And I know it's a bit of a faff and a bit annoying that this only works with Photoshop. There might be another tool that can do this, I just don't know of it. So if you're aware of another way to do this right here, let us know in the comments down below. Oh, and by the way, after this stage, you would go to File, Export, Export as PNG, and then you'll get your design file right here. Now that might be quite a large size, like 20 megabytes is this one right here, 22 actually. So you might have to run it through KCM afterwards to get that size down, but at least you've got a really neat looking design, and this also works with bootleg as mentioned. So just to summarize the steps here again, you want to first of all have your image upscaled to at least around 4,000 pixels. Then you want to create a document at the right print size wherever you're selling it, whether it's Amazon merch or Etsy, and make sure you know what those dimensions are, and 300 dpi. Then you want to duplicate your design into a new project, apply the grayscale mode, then apply some levels to create a higher contrast and your white and your dark areas. Then you want to create a bitmap with a halftone effect. You can then copy that project and paste it into a layer mask in your original project to the original design, and then all that's left is exporting that as a PNG file.